I was in college and would go to the gym, and I noticed there, I was getting tired. And there were even times where I'd start to feel the gym get dark. And my primary care doctor had told me to go get an echo. The tech was in the middle of doing the echo and asked me to hold on, and got up and actually pulled a doctor into the room. And they kind of, whispered amongst themselves. After that, things kind of went downhill from there.
I met Shalah about 14 years ago. She presented with heart failure and a dilated cardiomyopathy.
It was incredibly hard. There was years and years where we had a very active lifestyle in terms of traveling. We biked across the Golden Gate Bridge, and we did a ton of stuff beforehand, which I'm grateful for, because that's really who I am. So I'm glad he got to see that, before things got worse and I had limitations.
Back about a year and a half ago, she got to the point where she needed a transplant.
Dr. Knopfrey was pretty blunt about it and said, we need to hospitalize you indefinitely, and you're not walking out until you either have a heart pump or a new heart.
I'm sure being in the hospital and getting listed for a transplant wasn't where she saw herself being. Even
though she looked okay on the outside, she was really dying from heart failure on the inside.
Well, you always know in the back of your mind that losing her is a reality. It's hard to process.
Not to make light of it, but it was in the middle of the night, and we walked in, and the security guard stopped us because we had to sort of sign in, and Greg just walked up and said, hi, I'm Greg Cox, and I'm here for my heart transplant. And he looked at him, he did a double take, because I don't think he believed him.
He was diagnosed with cancer at a young age, and as part of the treatment for his cancer, the chemotherapy actually affected his heart and damaged his heart.
After college, I was at a wedding, and I was with my wife. I was feeling labored when we were dancing.
At a later age, in his 20s and 30s, he developed significant heart failure and a cardiomyopathy.
About 3 years ago, I started to feel different. I was playing men's hockey. It was sort of acute. It was almost like the dam broke. That's really where my story begins for Tufts.
I think what's wonderful about Greg's story is that he was probably one of the sickest patients we've seen come through our doors.
I went up on an appointment where they were going to just sort of look at me, but I never left.
He was found to be in cardiogenic shock with severe heart failure, both on his biventricular, right and left-sided.
Things weren't going well, and it wasn't looking good, from what I understand. There is a chance that, I might not come home. You're dealing with family and a wife and the unknowing, children. And for me, that was the toughest thing, because it's your kids.
So he eventually did get the LVAD as a bridge to transplant.
My father-in-law said to me, early on, he said, I got one question for you. Do you trust the doctors here at Tufts? And I unequivocally said, absolutely I do. And he said, then it's in their hands.
So it was so happy when we got the phone call, and it was just a very scary moment putting her in there, but we knew it was the best thing, and we knew she was in great hands.
The transplant really went uneventful, and she's done very well.
The common question I get is, how do you feel now? And I say the same thing, which is you don't realize how sick you are until you're healthy. And it was pretty remarkable.
On the 1-year anniversary of the heart transplant, she decided she wanted to hike a mountain, so we hiked Mount McDonough, and it was pretty magical.
So it was just great to see her be able to do some of these things that she enjoyed and hadn't been able to do for a while.
So a little after my year anniversary, I decided to write to my donor. I definitely, didn't know what to expect, and I got a response very quickly. And her mom, Susan, had written, and she was a young girl, 18. And
it just means a lot to have a new lease on life and understand that you're taking someone else's loss and doing something with it.
Just trying to really live 2 lives. So.
One of the biggest things for us that we're able to do now is really start a family. We wanted to do that for a really long time, and we're just really optimistic and hopeful that we can start a family soon.
The phone rang and it was Dr. D'Onofrio. This is a good day. We got the phone call. From what I hear, I probably had one of the best heart transplant successes ever. It's like being reborn. If it's very hard to explain. It's such a euphoric feeling, and everybody, the whole team is there sharing in that with you. It is a miracle.
I just love it when the patients come back for a post-op visit and they look not at all like the sick and frail person that I first met.
One of the goals of all physicians is to get patients back to normalcy and back to their lives, and to see him doing the things that he loves with his family is really satisfying for us and for everyone who takes care of him.
They always see you at your worst, but they don't give you anything less than their best.
I'm benefiting from years of work that Tufts Medical Center has invested into this type of technology. If they weren't doing things in the 80s and 90s, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today. So the things that they're doing today, I can't even imagine what great things they're going to be able to do for folks in the future.